Well, recently I have been looking at portable video gaming systems and saw this one in my feed. So I started looking and realized there are a whole bunch of these on Amazon. So you know what? I went ahead and bought one. That's right, it's the R36T Retro TV portable gaming system. This is what's next. Well, the box that it comes in is kind of a generic, almost off-brand look. I'm assuming that they make these for just a variety of manufacturers, but they all have the same model number or part number, the R36T. And you can see here, there's some information on the back. It is a quad-core Cortex A35 up to 1.5 gigahertz. The RAM is 1 gigabyte. The eMMC is 8 gigabyte. And I believe this comes with a 64 gigabyte gaming cartridge with games already included. 3000 milliamp battery, and I think it's roughly 4 to 5 hours. And it also has Wi-Fi. So anyways, let's take a look and see what's inside. Now, I have opened this already, but I have not taken this out of the packaging. And it does come with this really cool case. I'm kind of surprised that it is pretty durable, it seems like. It's a hard shell case, so it looks like if you wanted to be portable, really with this system, you'd be okay. If we go ahead and we unzip this up, there is the stuff on the inside. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that there is no charging brick. So you will need a separate charging brick like this one here. So we do get the USB-A to USB-C connection here. And we also have our instruction manual and the gaming system itself, which is in here strapped in. That is pretty hard to get out. So let's go ahead and get this unwrapped. Now, I myself am not a video game person. I like to play some video games and I want to do more of this. So I thought, well, you know, maybe this might get me a little bit more into it. Yeah, I have the Atari, the Game Station Plus, and I've used it only a little bit, but with the holidays coming up, probably might do a little bit more of that. So you have this foam protective covering, so that's nice to keep that from getting all scratched up. The buttons seem okay. Again, I can't be an expert at this because I do not know what a bad button sounds like, but or feels like. You do have this kind of curved screen. That was the one thing that kind of caught interest in my eye because, again, being a kid of the 70s and 80s, that's exactly what we would play games on, were those curved televisions. This thing comes right off. It's just a protective layer, and you can see that it is a little bit rounded. Yeah, just around the edges, and it looks like a television. It's got kind of the curved sides. I like that. So you do have that directional button here. Now, I do like that. Then you have this stick down here. There's your X, Y, A, B buttons, select, start, and I believe that is for function. I believe that this is running, what is it, EMU Elect on this. So there is your card slot. Let's go ahead and pop that card out. What do we get here? It's definitely, that is as generic as you're going to get. 64 gigs is what it says. I'll probably do a backup on that just to be on the safe side. There is a power button. I'm not sure what button that is. I'll have to look at that. And then you have your R2, R1, and L1, L2 here. You know, some screws that you could probably take this thing apart. That would be interesting, but I don't think we're going to do that in today's episode. And on this side, you have your volume rocker, and the speaker is coming from where? It looks like it's coming from the bottom. There is an auxiliary jack right here. I don't know if that's also doubles as your headphone output. And then we have our DC and then our OTG port right here. They're both USB-C. All right, looking at our user manual, it's this traditional fold-out manual here. You have what's included. We do see that it does have that Type-C charging cable, the protective case, the instruction manual. It said screen protector, which is what I just ripped off. And then here's your specifications along with various other options. So, you know, that's enough talk on manuals and cables. What about the unit itself? Let's get this thing powered on. And it looks like we just press the power button. I'm assuming we just leave it on for a few moments. Ooh, and there we go. That looks good. It definitely gives the illusion of a tube television set. So now, what does it do? Oh, it takes a few moments. Oh, they're even giving it more like the retro TV. I like that. That's kind of cool. And look at this. We have even some RGB lighting down here. It's going to load, and then it does say 18,543 games. So we can go through. We have favorite, Amstrad, CPC, MAME, Atari, Capcom. I mean, on and on and on this goes. And on and on and on and on and on. All right, so we're not going to go through all of them, actually. The sound from the speaker here is pretty loud. I don't know if yes, it does show kind of the volume control up here. It says that there are 4 games already in here. And it looks like we have Mortal Kombat. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. And this is just out of the box, you know. I'm not really doing much else with this. And this might take a moment for it to get started. Okay. Does appear to be some static going on there. There we go. And I'm losing already. All right, congratulations. I am terrible at this game. Let's try something else that's a little bit more my speed. Let's do Atari. And let's try Asteroids. All right, so what I wanted to find out is what's the screen look like at different angles. So there is, if it'll go focus. So it does get a little washed out, partly because of the way the screen is set up, but looking straight on, it looks pretty good. Wow, I am terrible at this. Okay, I did find out that if you press select and start at the same time, there you go. And then that's how you quit a game and you go back into the main menu. Nope. There we go, and then we're back to the main menu again. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play with this for about a day, and I'm going to come back and we're going to do a further review of the system itself, and, you know, would this be a good purchase for you during the holiday season? I don't know. Let me play with it some more, and then I'm going to report back to you here in just a few. All right, I've had some more time to play with this. And I have some thoughts on this RT36A device. First and foremost, the amount of games that you get with this, to me, is quite overwhelming. But I think that you'd find at least 10 out of the 18,000 that are in here that you probably would like to play. Overall, gameplay is okay. The one thing that I have noticed is that when you need to use both your directional pad and the rocker down here, it's a little hard because you'd have to either go over with both thumbs like this, like if you're playing Doom, and then you'd have to use your, you know, L1, L2, R1, R2. But a lot of the buttons over here have been mapped, so you may have to remap some of these games. So that makes it a little weird. The other thing I kind of not a fan of is that it's all plastic. There's no rubber grip on this back end back here. So for me, it's hard to kind of hold on to it. I wish there was like some sort of rubber grip to it. One caveat that I did forget to mention, or I incorrectly stated at the beginning of the video, is that, you know, these power supplies that you can use with this device, according to the instructions, and that's why I have the instructions here, is that it says do not press the reset button while charging, and the charger must not exceed 5 volts 2 amps, so 10 watts. Use one of those lower end 5 volt 1 amp or 5 volt 2 amp chargers. Gameplay is kind of fun. Yes, some of these, especially like if you go over to the Dreamcast or the, let's see here, PlayStation Portable, I found a couple of those games to be rather slow. For example, if I go into, and actually even Nintendo 64, so let's go into a Nintendo game and let's bring up the James Bond. I'll bring that up here in just a moment. So right now it's playing okay, but as soon as we get into the game, you're going to hear it start kind of cutting in and out right there. And you can hear now it's going a little slower. There you go. So you're going to have issues with that. So again, let me exit out of that. Okay. The other thing is I tried to play some of the Dreamcast games, and they were extremely slow. They had, I think it was Crazy Taxi 2. That didn't play very well at all. So keep in mind that some of the games that are going to come with this device probably are a little too much. Otherwise, if you're playing a lot of the older games, let's say Sega, PlayStation, even like Super Nintendo, I think you're going to be okay with this device. Again, 18,000 games. You know what? This isn't bad. I like that they got the RGB on the rocker down here. Your controls seem to be decent. Again, for me, with my hands, it is a little much that you got to do both of these, especially if you're playing something like Doom, which again, that Nintendo 64 version played a little slow. Let's take it back to the studio for my final thoughts on the R36T portable game system. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm impressed with this portable video game system, which this one set me back about $50. It isn't too bad. It's not perfect. No. I've already discussed some of the speed issues during some of the gameplay that I did, but that's to be expected with the quad-core Cortex A35 processor and the 1 gig of RAM. This is a processor released way back in 2016, and that RAM is somewhat limiting with the newer games. So if you stay with some of those earlier or older retro games, you'll have a good time. The included speaker is loud and clear, and using headphones, you will get stereo playback if it's supported by the game. Again, if you're someone looking for playing games from the N64, Dreamcast, or PSP or newer, you're going to be disappointed, so just stay clear of it if that's what your goal is. But if you want a simple, easy to use retro gaming device with little setup, this might be the way to go. I didn't find the retro screen to be annoying. To me, it made the gameplay a bit more fun. And oh, I almost forgot to mention the variety of colors that are available for this gaming system, so you don't have to go with the black one like I did. So keep that in mind if you are interested in this. Well, that's a wrap for today. If you found this episode helpful, go ahead and click the thumbs up button and that subscribe button as well. And to watch another episode, you can either click here or here. And until next time, I'll see you again for another episode of Hey, What's Next?